Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this session. As you can see on your screen, we are here today with Gracie Williams, who's the Assistant Director for Instructional Assessment, and Dr. Regina Cannon, who are going to look at this session on connecting assessment and e-portfolios. So now I think I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Regina Cannon and to Gracie Williams. Thank you so much for presenting today.
Thank you, Terry, for the introduction and some housekeeping. So again, if you're not muted, we ask that you please mute your lines so that there's no background noise as we go through this presentation. And again, I'm Gracie Williams, the Assistant Director of Instructional Assessment for Tarrant County College, and I'll be joined by Dr. Regina Cannon, Associate Professor of Business Administration.
Hi, everybody.
All right, so I'm going to go through today's topics. We're going to take you through TCC, Tarrant County College District at a glance. There's some interactives for this presentation. There's also a component where we're going to have the users to participate, and we're going to come back and wrap up with a group discussion and a Q&A. A little bit about Tarrant County College. We're the third largest county in the North Texas area. We're center in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, North Texas. Fort Worth is the fifth largest city in the state. We have over 50,000 students at our institution. We're multi-campus. We have 6 campuses, 5 in person and 1 distance learning site. We offer certificates through associate's degrees. We're publicly funded, and we also have more than 700 full-time faculty and 1,300 part-time faculty. All right, so again, we're located in the DFW Dallas-Fort Worth area. All right, so I'm going to start this presentation by doing some level setting to identify what is assessment. So for TCC, assessment is the systematic collection, review and use of information about educational programs undertaken for the purpose of improving student learning and development. It is used to determine what student knows and can do, encompasses our entire process of evaluating institutional effectiveness, and it provides credible evidence of student learning. So for us, the assessment of student learning provides information to support our claims of student learning. It supports the college's mission, our 3 goals and 8 principles, and it provides clear evidence of improvement of student learning and institutional effectiveness. So again, 3 things we want you to remember. It tells us our students' knowledge and skills, evaluate our institutional effectiveness, and it provides credible evidence of student learning. So for TCC, we use the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, for those that are in Texas, THECB, the 6 core objectives to be introduced, reinforced throughout the core curriculum at our institutional student learning outcomes. We refer to these as our ISLOs. They are critical thinking, communication skills, empirical and quantitative skills, teamwork, personal responsibility, social responsibility, and for TCC, we added an additional one, computer literacy, which we added for our institution. But again, we use the Texas Core as part of our ISLOs, also known as Institutional Student Learning Outcomes. So let me just talk about how we assess at TCC. So we have 3 levels of assessment. District, which are our ISLOs, also known as Institutional Student Learning Outcomes. PSLOs, we refer to as our Program Student Learning Outcomes, and these are for our career and technical education courses, as well as our AA specialization programs. And then we also assess at the course level, which are our core student learning outcomes. This can be across our Gen Ed core or any non-Gen Ed core classes. So again, 3 levels: ISLOs, PSLOs, and CSLOs. All right, so in the chat, I want you to tell us what type of outcomes or competencies do you capture as part of your assessment strategy at your institution? You can write out the number, or you can write out the words institutional, programmatic, course level, gen ed, or an accreditor or funding body defined outcomes or competencies. So if you'll take a few moments in the chat and identify what types of outcomes or competencies do you capture as part of your assessment strategy at your institution?
Okay, so we're showing, many are showing that they're using all 5 or 2, 3, and one person said maybe 5. Some are saying 4 and 5, but most of them are saying all.
Okay, very good. All right, very good. Thank you all for sharing that information. All right, so now we're going to transition to Dr. Cannon. So as we move into the next section of our presentation. So what I did in the first part, I did some level setting so you'll know something about TCC and our 3 areas of assessment that we do across the institution. So now we're going to move into the section where we're going to talk about ePortfolio for TCC. But to get started, and I'm going to transition Dr. Cannon, she's going to cover this part. So Dr. Cannon, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. So our question is, does your institution use ePortfolio? If so, how? Okay, so Gracie, if you go to the next one. Okay, you can come off mic. You can share if you're using it. If so, how? Or if you want to go into the chat, and you can post it in the chat as well. We have a few people in the chat that said no, not yet. They're thinking about it. We have some individual programs, faculty are using it. They're in the development stages for their honors program. They're using it for taking a look at assessment. Okay, all right, well, thank you. Okay, so Grace, you want to go next? So from our point of view, when we take a look at TCC, we look at talking about the ePortfolio as a digital space to collect student work developed across the various disciplines, as well as over time. So we're focusing heavily on making sure that students can capture things they've done from the start, from the first day they walk into the institution and they start taking classes. So we want to highlight their experiences. We also want them to be able to connect and to build a relationship based on their knowledge. So from a point of view, we're focusing on making sure that the student can capture their experiences, because we know many times students don't capture things they're doing over time. So in taking a look at the ePortfolio, this would be ideal for them to be able to use. Okay, Gracie, you want to go to the next slide? Okay, so we also take a look at who are our key stakeholders. So from our point of view, when we started to develop this process, we wanted to take a look at who would be the key components that will have to drive this initiative. And so we're taking a look at capturing artifacts, which is all the data. We're taking a look at how can we keep this moving. So we started with a focus team, and the focus team was a group of individuals across different disciplines, different departments. We also took a look at faculty that range in different disciplines as well. But we also wanted to make sure that we included the student development service side, career services, library services. All of these components are key factors, because in taking a look at the stakeholders, students will be going into these different departments, these different program areas. So we wanted to make sure that we had all types of entities that was a part of the process itself. Now, when we look at our pillars, we're looking at components. So we're looking at faculty. Faculty is the driving factor because faculty has firsthand knowledge with students. We're also taking a look at the gen ed side of the house, which is all the co-curricular side, which is the general education courses. We're also taking a look at the career and technical courses. We're also taking a look at program services. So anything that is co-curricular, career services, library, student services area, any area that touch students, we want them to be a part of the pillars. Okay, Gracie, you want to move to the next one? Okay, so at this time, Gracie is going to share some of the e-portfolios that we have captured over the last year. And so before that she goes into it, I want to kind of talk about it. We use a design that is set up for all people to be able to use. So our particular template is not a different template for each area. We have one template that everybody across the institution would use. Faculty use it, student use it, the co-curricular side would use it. So that way we felt like using a one design model, then we train and we teach everyone the same way. So when students go into a different classroom, it's not like they have to learn a different way of using the actual document. They're still using it the same way. So in taking a look at the template, you can see we have 10 particular areas that we focus on. We focus on letting them create their image. We have them to do like an introduction. We have an overview of their background, such as their education, their goals, career goals. We have areas where that they can incorporate their resume, their skills. We also have areas where that they can incorporate projects that they are working on or things that they're capturing. So if you go through, you can kind of see, you can add many different features, but you can add images and pictures, you can add attachments. So Gracie, if you'll move down just some, I want to take a look at the course level area. Okay. They also can capture their volunteer services. They can capture things they've done outside and accomplishments. So to us, accomplishments can be many different things. So whenever we're training students to use this, we tell them whatever an accomplishment is to them, that is what should be put in there. They have an area where it's for courses. So every time a student enrolled in a course, they have access to this particular document. So they can go in and they can capture information that they've learned from that course, but also the main thing that we train the faculty to do is to have students to upload their course assessment. So when students are doing a single, a signature assignment or a course level assessment, then they can capture that data into their actual document. Okay, Gracie, if you would like to show one of the student samples. Okay, so this is one of my students. She did hers, and we invited the students to participate. Like, so the instructors who went through the process, they had their classes to do it. And so the students was really engaged in this process. So they got an opportunity to design it where they could make it advanced or they can do the minimum, but students was able to capture things they've done over time. So like in the course area, if you look at the course area, within that course area, students was asked to incorporate the course level assessment. So like for my particular class, the BUSI 1301, I have to do a program level assessment. So students was able to do the assignment, come back and capture the actual graded assignment. So once this semester is over, I'm able to upload the links into our district guidelines, and now they actually have evidence of the students actually doing the course assessment. But the students get to incorporate different things. They can incorporate accomplishments they've done. They can incorporate their volunteer services. So the whole point in having a one design model is so that students can go into another class and they don't have to really do much. They can continue to add different things. The other beauty of this is that students get to go back and update it as much as they want. They may start off with it very basic, but then over time, they can go in and change images, change their photo, and add more things to it. Okay, Grace, if you want to go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so when we use the ePortfolio and with assessment, we're capturing 3 different things. We're capturing signature assignments, where there are some faculty members that are using signature assignments to capture assessment components. We're using program assessments. So for those career and tech programs, they look at the PSLOs. And then for those programs that are not capturing any course assessment, they may be doing a course level assignment that they do on an annual basis. Okay. So one thing that we also take a look at, we look at this as a benefit from both the faculty side as well as the student side. So with faculty, we're promoting this and bringing awareness that if they're doing it, they can capture things as well, because we know faculty is also going through the process of promotion and ranking tenure. They're going through capturing things that they can add into their packets. So in promoting this, this particular project, this helps the faculty to capture things they're doing over time as well. Because many of us know we'll do so many different initiatives and so many different projects, and we may save it in a jump drive, but if faculty take a look at the ePortfolio, they can capture the same information that the students are capturing. Students can have this, yes, they can look at this as another link-in, but I really like the features of this is that they have more control. So students can track the things that they feel that is important to them. On LinkedIn and Facebook, I'm not really sure that they can capture everything, all types of storage, but in this particular document, they can capture pictures, they can capture images, they can capture assignments that they can use at a later time to show evidence of work and knowledge that they've learned over the 2-year process. The other benefit of using this is that this document will it can transition into them leaving the college as well, where that they'll still have access to this particular document. Okay, Gracie, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so at this time, Gracie is going to give you the instructions for the breakout groups.
All right, so thank you, Dr. Cannon, for taking us through how we use ePortfolio across the curriculum as well as also for co-curricular. So at this time, we're going to put you all in groups. I've dropped a PDF file for this learning activity. So you're going to have about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes or so in your groups. So when you get into your breakout groups, we're asking you to identify a facilitator for the group, identify a note taker for the group. And each person, if you just have an extra sheet of paper or something you can write on, you're going to address those 3 questions that are in this learning activity. I'm going to take you through the next slide so you can see it. So each person will take about 5 to 7 minutes to complete this activity. You're going to do a round robin note taker, and they're going to collect that information, and 3 minutes to wrap up. We're going to come back and report out in the actual meeting. So I'm going to show you a question. So the 3 questions you're going to answer in your breakout room. What are your pillars? We want you to think about it. So for those that are not currently using ePortfolio, think about what some of your pillars can be for an ePortfolio. Identify your stakeholders. And for those that are currently using it, or share a success, or what you perceive as a challenge if you're currently using it. And if you're not, identify what a challenge could be in using ePortfolio. Okay, does everybody understand the instructions? And the instructions are also in that handout that I shared via the chat.
Okay, everybody, we was having some technical problems, so we decided to make sure that we could get through the activities, just bring everybody back into the main room. So Gracie, if you want to take over from here, and we'll just try to do this as a big group, okay?
So let me just continue here. All right, so I think a couple of the groups were able to talk through it. So John, I'm gonna call you. Will you kind of share out what we discussed in our room as far as like your pillars, your stakeholders, and some of your perceived challenges? And again, everyone has the document in the chat, and it's just for you to brainstorm and think through your process as you move forward with ePortfolio.
Yeah, I'm happy to share a little bit about what we talked about. We, I guess, as far as pillars go, I'm in a school where we are considering sort of rolling out ePortfolios more broadly, but they're currently, I guess, the pillars would involve sort of our general education experience, and especially our first year experience, sort of anchoring it in our first year seminar and our first year advising, first year advisors. That would also mean that these characters would become some of our bigger stakeholders. So the FYS program and the advising office and the director of advising and retention would be a major stakeholder. And then as we got there, I think a big challenge that we discussed was sort of getting broad faculty buy-in. And so starting with a smaller group and sort of showing proof of success is sort of our strategy that we're discussing at the moment. And that was as far as our conversation has gotten.
Okay, good. Okay. Is there anyone else want to share out? And then we're going to go ahead and talk through some where we are with ePortfolio and share out some information on some survey results we've had. Anyone else want to share?
Just one thing, Debbie and I ended up in just a group for 2, and we were kind of bounced around, so we didn't get too far. But I think something she brought up was important. On our site, we look at assessment in general as the system of continuous improvement. We're measuring ILOs, PLOs, CLOs. We're aligning the assessments we do collect with that. We intend to do that for some authentic assessments that come through ePortfolio, but not necessarily everyone. That might be an option we're looking at. But Debbie made a really good point. Many of us are really focused, our assessments are around those institutional learning goals, and then to our programs and degrees. And for example, on our site, part of our so-called pillars might be our programs that are associated with the associates for science, and then the associates in arts and so on. And it's an important part of our assessment realm to do that. So, we didn't get too far. I mean, Debbie, do you want to add to that?
I think one of the challenges we both seem to face is finding out who all is using ePortfolios. Prior to assessment, you want to have some things in a basket, and then the possibility of some resistance towards having a uniform assessment and leaving open the role of ePortfolio at the course level, program level, degree level. But it was a wonderful conversation. Thanks.
All right, very good. We'll take one more, and then we'll begin our process, kind of talk about where we are with ours and some of the survey data. Dr. Cannon, I'm rebooting my machine because my Zoom froze. So I'm gonna let you talk through where we are in the results, and I'll bring the PowerPoint back up as soon as I can. So can we get one more participant or group to share out? Because this really is for you to kind of think through your process. And so there's no right or wrong answer in this space. We're just brainstorming.
Well, I'm happy to share out. I'm with Salt Lake Community College in Utah, and we have a very robust ePortfolio system. I'm not in the ePortfolio office. My colleagues are here, and I think in other rooms, but we rolled out ePortfolio gosh, it was probably maybe 10 or 12 years ago, and it's a requirement, a general education requirement. And there was a lot of resistance to begin with, but it is something that's being embraced more and more. And so basically all students that take general education classes have to have an e-portfolio, and we use it for assessment on all the different levels, institutional, program, course, the whole thing. I do the community engaged learning program and Study Away. So I help assess our civic literacy student learning outcome. And that's actually one of the areas where we've gotten commendation for assessment is with our e-portfolio assessment. So it works pretty well. I see incredible value in it, and am also participating in the AAC&U grant to assess authentic evidence, civic evidence. And it's very similar. They're processed through the Value Institute. It's very similar to what we're doing. So it's kind of reinforcing what we're doing, and I'm learning from them to inform our process. So it's cool. It's a neat process. It's been, incredibly hard, but very good.
Thank you for sharing. All right, Dr. Cannon, I'm going to turn it back over to you, and you can just talk through where we are with our e-portfolio, our goals, our progress, and what's next. And again, I'm pulling the PowerPoint back up. So if you can continue talking through it, I'll get the PowerPoint up as soon as I can.
Okay, Gracie, I've already pulled up the PowerPoint, okay?
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, so this is where we are, and each of you provided some good information. This is very challenging and taking a look at rolling out something of this magnitude. But when we take a look at our goals for our district is that we want every student who entered Tarrant County College to be able to have an e-portfolio by the time that they graduate. That way they could capture information over time, because we know students wait until graduation semester to start thinking about all the things they've done and to try to look for opportunities. But if they continue to start it at the beginning and over time in each course, they can capture things that they've learned, they can capture job experience. So we're really promoting this to try to get this up and going. We're using Canvas and we're using Folio that is through Canvas itself. We're targeting faculty and staff, and we feel like working with faculty, they will be the frontline people because students will be in their classes, but we're also taking a look at staff because of the different pillars and the different departments that we have. Students, from a student perspective, we're working with student services where we're taking a look at targeting certain student groups, but we're looking at all students, but we know the best way to get students on board with something is to get other students involved in it as well. So we're taking a look at clubs and organizations. We're working with the SGA group, and then from there, we're moving to the major clubs and organizations. Right now, as far as our progress, we started a year ago, and when we initially started, we did open calls where that we invited faculty to participate. We started our first cohort. We had a stipend that was tied to it, where that faculty that participated, they was paid a 20-hour stipend to do all the work, the training, the development, the rollout, and the submission. Well, we did that for like 2 semesters. We did it the summer, and then that fall semester, we kind of changed it a little where that we didn't pay faculty, but we provided them like hours towards their professional development. The one thing that we found was that we didn't have the commitment. Faculty would go through the training, but they wouldn't roll out. They wouldn't deploy. They wouldn't submit the information. So over the last 6 months, we took a look at a different approach. For spring 2022, we did invitation only. That means we still did an open call, but we did it from a point of view that we targeted specific faculty. So we looked at individuals that we knew, that are very engaging. We looked and we told them what the process entailed. We took them through the process. So we did a beta testing group that we wanted this particular group to take a look at, to see all the pieces that we have put together and to give us detailed feedback, and for us to kind of revamp our training from that point of view. But then we also asked those faculty members that was invited to roll it out in their particular classes. We changed up the amount of time frame. We went from doing it in a 16-week format to an 8-week format. And so one of the things that we know with the progress is that we have to continue to talk about it. We have to bring more awareness. So, and then we also have to do more training. We was open to the feedback. So those faculty members, we had a group of 18 faculty members that participated in the beta testing group this past spring. We asked them for their feedback. They gave us their feedback. So what's next for us? We're going to continue the invitation only process, where that we're going to identify faculty on each campus to participate, and we're going to continue to recruit in that manner. We're also going to partner with the student service side. We have already started working with one campus that we are working with student activities, where that we are training the SGA group, which is the student leaders. And at one campus, we already got buy-in. They are so excited about doing this that they want to be trainers as well. So that is something that we're working on towards next year, to try to get more students involved, but also to train students to train other students to use the template. We're also working with the student service side, where that we're going to be a part of one of their major projects, where the students that enroll within their leadership academy, this will be one of the first elements that they will do, is that they will go through the process and actually start the process in creating their documents. We are also taking a look at each campus is a little different. So we have champions at each campus that's going to work with student activities to identify what particular program or student event that we could work with to get more students involved. And again, we're going to continue with the awareness. We're going to do more marketing. We're going to do videos that run across the district. Our goal for 2022, 2023 is to have 2,000 users, and that includes faculty, staff, as well as students. And so this is a big role to kind of roll out, but I really think that we can do it. Let's move to the next slide. And so the lessons that we've learned is that we have to keep the conversation going. We have to talk to faculty. We will get faculty that will not be on board, but that's okay. We just have to continue to move to those faculty members that are excited about doing something new. And many of the faculty members that I'm talking with, they are excited. They want to be a part of it. We also have to continue to work with our SDS side, which is the co-curricular side. And we're working with them that we have already started doing training with their side so that they can start rolling it out in their program areas like career services, the transfer center. We're working with them, and we have completed a training process with them that this fall that they'll be doing either a district assessment or either a single campus piece of it, but they will be able to use the same template. They will be able to capture the information, and students will be able to use it within their particular areas as well. We have to also focus on accountability. Anybody who signed up to do it, they have to be accountable, meaning that they have to follow through and do the components all the way through. And then again, we have to keep taking a look at different ways of doing the training. We started virtually online, but now we found that it's more feasible to do it in face. And so we're setting up different timeframes when that we can do training. And we have to tap into the campus champions. They are going to be the point of contact. So meaning that they have to have the ability to recruit the people from their campus. It's easy to say, let's go out and do a mass recruiting, but faculty and staff follow individuals that they know. So we have identified champions at each campus that can do the recruiting piece for us. Okay, so we like to share some facts about our reboot, and this is from our spring semester that we did a beta testing group with the cohort 3, and we did a student survey of the students who participated in the faculty members classes. So with cohort 3, these are our results. So one thing that faculty shared with us, we asked faculty, did they see a benefit? And why not? And these are some of the feedback that they gave us. We had a group of 18 faculty members that committed to the process. They followed the timelines, they rolled it out. We asked them to roll it out in at least one class. We had faculty members that rolled it out in all their classes. So that was a really good piece of it, is that they saw the value in it. But these are just some of the feedback that they gave us. Now, in the next slide, we asked faculty, would they continue to use the ePortfolio? We had 23 faculty members that said yes. And then we had a few that said, we had one person that said that they would not recommend it. They would still use it, but they wouldn't recommend it. That's okay, because some people don't feel comfortable inviting other people to do certain things. So we will continue to recruit and ask faculty to be a part of it. Now, in the next slide, we had 439 students to do the survey, and this is from the group of faculty members classes that participated. So we asked the question, did you know what an ePortfolio was before attending the actual workshop? We had 109 students to say yes, but 330 students said no. They did not know what it was. Then we went in and we asked them about the benefit of the training and the benefit of using it. And these are some of the feedback that they gave us. So if you want to take a look at it, this is just things that we feel like this is a positive step forward. And working with our advisor, she gave us some real good feedback on how to update the actual survey, to look at it from a pre and post viewpoint of it. So these are some of the things that we will be focusing on and trying to make sure that we move through for the next semester. So I know that our time is up, but we would like to thank you for coming to our session. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer. We put our fact sheet in the chat. And so Terry, I'm gonna turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Cannon.
Mhm.
And thank all of you who have stuck with us. Sorry for the technical difficulty. And please do follow up with Dr. Cannon and Gracie Williams, and with questions and things that you have. I'm sure they're going to be around part of the day at least. And if you have any difficulty, just let one of us at ABLE know, and we can get you in contact with them if you can't. But thank you all so much. The recording will be available, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
All right, thank you, everybody.